Hello everyone and welcome back to Auto Decode. In this video, we'll be learning about different powertrain layouts or configurations. Powertrain layouts means how the prime mover and all the drivetrain components are arranged and what is the power flow starting from the engine or the prime mover to the driven wheels. One thing before we start, if you haven't checked out the earlier video explaining all the functions of drivetrain components, then please go and watch it because knowing all these functions will make it easy to understand the layout and the power flow. So without any further delay, let's start. Okay, so let us start with the transverse engine front wheel drive layout. First, I'll tell you about the orientation of the vehicle. So we are looking at the vehicle in the top view. These four are the wheels of the vehicle. These two are the front wheels. This is the front direction. The vehicle travels in this direction. So these two are the front wheels and those two are the rear wheels. So in this layout, first we'll identify all the components. This is the engine placed transversely. So what is a transverse engine and a longitudinal engine? A transverse engine, the line joining all the cylinders, that is this line, is perpendicular to the direction of travel. This is the direction of travel. The line joining cylinders is perpendicular to it. So this is a transverse engine. And in longitudinal engine, the line joining the cylinders is in the direction, parallel to the direction of vehicle motion. So here it is a transverse engine. The next component is the transaxle. The complete blue housing, everything drawn in blue, is a transaxle. The black things over here show the gears inside the transaxle. And this thing which I have marked here is the differential, which as we know is incorporated in the transaxle by default. So these are the three main components: the engine, transversely mounted engine, the transaxle with the differential incorporated in it. And after the differential, there are these two drive shafts. So let us study about the power flow now. The engine generates power. The crankshaft of the engine has a flywheel on it. The flywheel is connected to the clutch. When the clutch is engaged, the power moves forward from the engine shaft to the input shaft of the transaxle. This is the input shaft. This is the input shaft and the output shaft. So there are gears between the input and output shaft. The construction we'll be looking in the individual component video. So through the selected gears, any gear might be selected. So through the selected gears, the power moves forward to the output shaft where there is a final drive. This final drive is where the output goes to the differential. In the differential, as we know, the power is split between two outputs. So the two outputs of differential are connected to two CV shafts or constant velocity shafts, as we call. They also called as drive shafts or half shafts. And through these two half shafts or drive shafts, the power further goes to the two wheels. So this is how the power flows. Engine, when clutch is engaged, through the clutch to the input shaft, then to the differential, and through the differential to the two drive shafts and two wheels. Okay, so let's now discuss the next layout, that is front longitudinal engine rear wheel drive layout. I'll identify the components first. Before that, these two are the front wheels. Vehicle is moving in this direction and those two are the rear wheels. So starting with the engine, this is the engine located on the front axle and mounted longitudinally, that is parallel to the direction of motion. Then next main component is the clutch, which is mounted on the flywheel of the engine. Then comes the straight or inline transmission. In this layout, the inline transmission is used. Then the propeller shaft and ultimately the rear axle, which has an incorporated differential in it. And the output of the differential are two solid shafts. So let us now discuss the power flow. So engine generates the power. The flywheel is connected with the clutch. When the clutch is engaged, the engine power moves forward to the input shaft of the transmission. There are gears between the input and output shaft of the transmission. So whenever a gear pair is selected, the power flows through that gear pair to the output shaft. Through the output shaft, at the output, the propeller shaft is connected, which transmits the power from output of the gearbox or the transmission to the input of the rear axle. So now at the rear axle, the input is given to the pinion of the differential. As we know, the differential splits power into two shafts. Then these two solid shafts supply this power to the two rear wheels. This is how the rear wheels are driven. Okay, so let us now have a look at the rear engine, rear wheel drive layout. So these are the two possible variations of a rear engine, rear wheel drive layout. In the first variation, the engine is in transverse direction, and in the second variation, the engine is in longitudinal direction. So here I have shown only the blocks, as the construction is completely same to the front engine, front wheel drive layout. So first is the engine, then the clutch or a torque converter depending upon manual or automatic transmission, then a transaxle in which the differential is incorporated, and then the drive shafts. So the power flow is obviously from the engine if the clutch is engaged to the input shaft of the transaxle, then through the input shaft and the selected gear to the final drive and the differential, and through the two outputs of the differential it goes to the CV shafts or the drive shafts, and through the drive shafts it goes to the two wheels, the rear wheels. And in this variation, nothing is different, just the orientation of the engine and the transmission. So everything is same: engine, then the clutch or a torque converter depending upon manual or automatic, then the transaxle. Here just the transaxle orientation, the internal orientation of the gears of transaxle is different, and the two outputs go to the wheel. So the power flow is again engine, then through the clutch when engaged to the input shaft of the transaxle, then through the input shaft to the final drive and the differential, and the two outputs of differential go to the two drive shafts, and through the two drive shafts to the two rear driven wheels. Okay, so let us now discuss the four-wheel drive layout. I'll identify the components first. Before that, these two are the front wheels, those two are the rear wheels, and vehicle is moving in this direction. So let us identify the components first. This is the engine placed longitudinally. Then this is a straight transmission which is used after the engine. A clutch is mounted on the flywheel of the engine which connects to the input shaft of the transmission. Moving forward, this is a special component used in four-wheel drive. It is called as the transfer case. The construction and working we'll be looking at in individual transfer case video. Then next are the two propeller shafts, and finally the rear axle and the front axle with the rear differential and the front differential. So in a four-wheel drive, all the four wheels are driven. It can be chosen manually also in some cases. So we can choose if the only rear wheels are driven or rear as well as front wheels are driven. So let us now discuss the power flow. So engine generates the power. When the clutch is engaged, the power is further transmitted to the input of the transmission. From the input of the transmission and the selected gear, the power moves forward to the output of the transmission, through which it is given to the transfer case. So transfer case has two jobs to do. Firstly, to select whether only rear wheels are driven or rear and front, all the four wheels are driven. So that is done by either a clutch or other actuating device which is used here to transmit the power further to front axle. Otherwise only rear axle is driven. And the second job is to select between two ranges or two modes, high mode and low mode, in which there is high speed and low speed respectively. So there is this flexibility given in order to increase the torque in very off-road conditions where the vehicle is stuck or something else, and also increase the speed. So transfer case has these two functions: select the high and low mode, and then select between which axles are driven, that is only the rear or the rear and the front. It cannot drive only the front, keep it in mind. There are only two options: only the rear axle or the front and the rear axle both. Then moving forward, depending on the selected mode, the power flows through the rear propeller shaft to the rear axle, and through the front propeller shaft to the front axle. Then in case of the rear axle, this is the differential through which the power is split into two wheels and goes further to the two wheels. And in case of the front axle, again this is a differential through which the power is split into two wheels and goes to the two wheels. So the rear axle here is a rigid axle with two solid shafts as shown in the earlier layout as well. Here I have also shown a rigid axle in the front, a solid axle as it is called, with two solid shafts. But it can also have independent front suspensions, as in the front wheel drive layout that we have already seen. So here there is an option of a solid axle or a independent front suspension axle. So this is pretty much all about the four-wheel drive, power flow, and the layout. Okay, so before starting with the all-wheel drive layout, let me clear out one thing. There is difference between the four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive layout. And what is the difference? So in four-wheel drive, which axles are propelled or driven is in driver's control. Like driver can switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive if at all it is switchable. But in all-wheel drive, it is not in driver's control. Which axle will be given what amount of power, or which wheel will be given what amount of power, is everything determined electronically. It has an electronic control unit, or ECU as it is called. So that is not in driver's control. It is determined electronically and takes place electronically. So to clear out the difference between four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, I'll be posting another video, the link of which is given in the description. So please check it out. For now, let us start with all-wheel drive. So basically, all-wheel drive doesn't have a particular layout which it follows like the other layouts. All-wheel drive is a concept which is implemented with various technologies, various concepts, and does not follow a particular framework. So these two are the most common frameworks or layouts which an all-wheel drive vehicle has that I have shown here. Let us look at these two most common layouts. So the first one here, I'll identify the components first. This is the engine drawn in black. Then the red one is the clutch. Blue one is the transmission. Most probably in an all-wheel drive, it is an automatic transmission. And if it is an automatic transmission, then instead of clutch, there will be a torque converter, not the clutch. So this is a transmission, and the special component here is the central differential in red, drawn in red here. So the central differential has the job to split this power between the front and rear axle. It is different than the transfer case, but the job is pretty much similar. So the central differential or the center differential splits the power between front and rear axle, which is done electronically. So it might have either visco couplings, which is called as viscous couplings as well, or multiplet clutches, which are controlled electronically to split this power between the two axles. And then there is front differential for the front axle and the rear differential for the rear axle. So the power flow is obviously from the engine to the clutch, from the flywheel to the transmission, and if it is an automatic transmission, through the torque converter to the automatic transmission. Then the transmission output is connected to this central differential, which splits the power into front axle and the rear axle. And the power is provided to the wheels through the solid shafts of the front and rear axle. Then moving on to the next layout, this is another type of layout which is used in all-wheel drive vehicles. So in this layout, the gearbox is a special gearbox. The transmission is specially made for this type of layout, in which the front differential is integrated inside the transmission. So the components are the engine, then the clutch or the torque converter if it is an automatic gearbox, then the transmission, which has a front differential integrated into it. Then comes a power transfer unit, which takes the power from this gearbox and delivers to the rear axle. So the power flow is like this. Engine generates the power. Through the clutch is given to the gearbox. Gearbox has here three outputs. So two are for the two front wheels through the differential inbuilt in it. And the power transfer unit takes the power from the gearbox and transfers it to the rear axle. And the rear axle then transfers it to the two wheels. So this is another type of layout of an all-wheel drive vehicle. These two are generally used layouts, not found in all the types of vehicles. There are various variations and concepts that every different company uses for their vehicles. I have kept this video very short and simple so that you will understand all the layouts very quickly. In order to understand the layouts in more depth and detail, you also need to know the pros, cons, and the applications of all the types of layouts. Applications in the sense which type of layout is used in what type of vehicles. So for this, I've made another video. Please head over to it and watch that video also. You'll find the link in the description below. And thank you very much for watching this video. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. And yes, keep teaching and keep learning. Thank you.